Now, before we go any further, I want to make absolutely sure you understand the full scope of what just happened here, because the media coverage has been surprisingly sparse, considering how many lives this affects. This isn't just some technical adjustment to a government program. This is the correction of a 40-year policy failure that has cost millions of Americans hundreds of billions of dollars in benefits they rightfully earned. Let's talk about the real-world impact on actual people. Consider Maria, a retired teacher from Texas who spent 32 years shaping young minds in public schools. Her husband worked in construction for 38 years, dutifully paying into Social Security with every paycheck. When he passed away unexpectedly at age 67, Maria naturally assumed she would receive his survivor benefits. After all, that's exactly what Social Security was designed to provide, a safety net for surviving spouses. But when she filed her claim, she was shocked to discover that because she had a teacher's pension from the state of Texas, the GPO reduced her survivor benefit to zero. Not reduced, eliminated. She received absolutely nothing from her late husband's lifetime of Social Security contributions. For 15 years, Maria struggled financially, forced to take on part-time work well into her 70s just to make ends meet. That's 15 years of financial hardship that was entirely preventable and completely unjust. Or consider Robert, a retired firefighter from Massachusetts. He spent 25 years running into burning buildings, risking his life to save others. But before becoming a firefighter, Robert worked in retail and restaurant jobs during his 20s, paying into Social Security for nearly 8 years. When he retired and applied for Social Security benefits, he expected to receive what he had earned from those early working years, plus what he had earned from his firefighting pension. Instead, the WEP formula slashed his Social Security benefit by nearly 60%. The bureaucratic explanation made no sense to him. He had paid into 2 separate systems. He had earned 2 separate benefits. But the government decided he didn't deserve both. For Robert and millions like him, this wasn't just about money. It was about basic fairness and respect for public service. These stories aren't exceptions. They're the norm. And they've been the norm for 4 decades. That's an entire generation of public servants who were systematically shortchanged by their own government. Teachers who educated our children, firefighters who protected our communities, police officers who kept our streets safe, librarians, sanitation workers, municipal employees of every kind. They all played by the rules. They all paid their taxes, they all earned their benefits, and they all got cheated. Now, let's talk about the financial mechanics of what you're actually owed, because the numbers vary significantly depending on your specific situation. If you were affected by the WEP, your benefit reduction depended on something called your years of substantial earnings under Social Security. The fewer years you worked in Social Security-covered employment, the larger your reduction was. Under the old WEP formula, if you had 20 years or fewer of substantial Social Security earnings, you could lose up to half of your pension amount from your Social Security benefit. That's not a typo. Up to 50% gone, just like that. For someone with a modest pension of $1,500 per month, that could mean a reduction of up to $750 per month in Social Security benefits. Over a 20-year retirement, that's a loss of $180,000. Now, with the WEP eliminated, that full benefit is restored. If you were losing $600 per month, you're now getting that $600 back every single month for the rest of your life. And depending on when the Social Security Administration processes your case, you may also be entitled to retroactive payments going back months or potentially even longer. For those affected by the GPO, the calculation was even more punishing. The GPO reduced your Social Security spousal or survivor benefit by 2/3 of your government pension. So if you received a government pension of $1,800 per month, the GPO would reduce your Social Security survivor benefit by $1,200. For most people, that completely eliminated the benefit. Think about what that meant in practice. A widow whose husband worked for 40 years in the private sector, paying maximum Social Security taxes, would expect to receive a survivor benefit of perhaps $2,000 per month. But if she had her own government pension of even a modest amount, the GPO could reduce that survivor benefit to zero. She got nothing from her deceased husband's lifetime of contributions. That money just disappeared into the federal budget. Now, with the GPO repealed, those survivor benefits are fully restored. A widow who was receiving $0 per month in survivor benefits might now be entitled to $1,500, $1,800, even $2,000 or more per month. For someone living on a fixed income, that is an absolutely life-changing amount of money. But here's what a lot of people don't realize. The elimination of the WEP and GPO doesn't just affect people who are already retired. It fundamentally changes the retirement planning equation for everyone currently working in public service. If you're a teacher, a firefighter, a police officer, or any other public employee who also has some Social Security covered employment in your work history, your expected retirement income just went up significantly. This means you need to completely recalculate your retirement projections. That online Social Security calculator you used 5 years ago, throw it out. It's based on formulas that no longer exist. The conventional wisdom about when to claim Social Security if you have a government pension, completely obsolete. You need to start fresh with updated information and quite possibly get professional advice from someone who understands the new landscape. And let's talk about the retroactive payments, because this is where things get really interesting. The Social Security Fairness Act was signed into law in late 2024, and the Supreme Court ruling removed all legal obstacles to its implementation. But the question everyone wants answered is, how far back do the retroactive payments go? Current indications suggest that beneficiaries may receive back payments going back to the effective date of the law. For some people, that could mean a lump sum payment of several $1,000s. For others, particularly those who have been retired for many years and were subject to large reductions, it could potentially mean tens of thousands of dollars. The Social Security Administration hasn't provided completely clear guidance on every detail of the retroactive payment process, which is exactly why you cannot afford to be passive here. You need to be proactive. You need to check your account. You need to call. You need to have your documentation ready. Because the squeaky wheel gets the grease, and in a bureaucracy processing millions of claims, you do not want to be the forgotten file sitting in a drawer somewhere. Now, I want to address something that might be on your mind. You might be thinking, this sounds too good to be true. Is this really permanent? Could a future Congress reverse this? It's a fair question, and here's the honest answer. Technically, yes, Congress could pass a new law in the future that reinstates some version of the WEP or GPO, but politically, that would be extraordinarily difficult. The Social Security Fairness Act passed with overwhelming bipartisan support. It wasn't a narrow partisan vote. It had strong backing from both Democrats and Republicans. Why? Because the injustice of the WEP and GPO was so clear, and the affected population, teachers, firefighters, police officers, is so politically sympathetic that opposing the repeal became untenable. Moreover, the Supreme Court's 9-0 decision provides an additional layer of legal and political protection. When the highest court in the land unanimously affirms that this repeal is legally sound, it sends a powerful message. Any attempt to bring back these provisions would face immediate legal challenges and enormous political backlash. So while nothing in politics is ever 100% permanent, the restoration of these benefits is about as secure as any legislative change can be. You can plan your retirement with confidence that these benefits are real and they're here to stay. Let's also talk about the economic impact of this decision because it's substantial. We're talking about approximately $360 billion in additional Social Security payments over the next decade. That's not money disappearing into a black hole. That's money going directly into the pockets of retirees who will spend it in their local communities. Think about what that means. A retired teacher in Ohio who suddenly has an extra $700 per month isn't going to stuff that money under a mattress. She's going to spend it on groceries, on healthcare, on home repairs, on gifts for grandchildren. That money circulates through the local economy, supporting jobs and businesses. Multiply that effect across 3.9 million people, and you're looking at a significant economic stimulus, particularly in communities with large populations of retired public servants. Local businesses should absolutely be paying attention to this because their customer base just got a substantial raise. Now, let's talk about some specific scenarios and what you should do in each case. Scenario 1. You're currently receiving reduced Social Security benefits due to the WEP. Action. Log into your Social Security account immediately. Check whether your benefit amount has been updated. If it has, great. If it hasn't, call the SSA and specifically reference the Social Security Fairness Act and the Supreme Court decision. Ask when your benefit will be recalculated and when you can expect retroactive payments. Scenario 2. You're a surviving spouse who was denied benefits due to the GPO. Action. Even if you were previously told you were ineligible for survivor benefits, you need to file a new claim immediately. The rules have changed. You are now likely eligible for benefits that were previously denied. Gather your late spouse's Social Security earnings record, your marriage certificate, and documentation of your government pension, and file a claim right away. Scenario 3. You're currently working in public service and haven't retired yet. Action. Request an updated Social Security statement that reflects the elimination of the WEP. Use this to recalculate your expected retirement income. Consider consulting with a financial advisor who specializes in public sector retirement to optimize your claiming strategy under the new rules. Scenario 4. You're a surviving spouse who accepted a reduced benefit years ago because of the GPO. Action. Contact the SSA and ask for a recalculation of your benefit without the GPO reduction. You should be entitled to the full survivor benefit going forward, plus potentially retroactive payments for the difference. The bottom line is this. If you have ever been affected by the WEP or GPO in any way at any time, you need to take action now. Do not assume the system will automatically find you and correct your benefit. Take control of the situation yourself. And please share this information. The people most likely to be affected by this, retired teachers, firefighters, police officers, and their surviving spouses, are often not the most digitally connected demographic. They might not see this news in their social media feeds. They might not hear about it from traditional media sources that have uncovered this story. If you know someone who worked in public service, reach out to them personally. Send them this information. Make sure they know about this ruling and what they need to do. You could literally be helping them claim thousands of dollars in benefits they've been unjustly denied for years. This is a historic moment of justice. After 40 years of fighting, public servants have finally won. But justice delivered by a court must still be claimed by a person. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Check your account, make the call, gather your documents, claim what is rightfully yours. Thank you so much for watching. This has been our Retirement Wealth Watch.